In this battle, the other forces are not afraid of death either. Sing Tian uses his ability, the Sing Tian Legion, a type of power that can enhance the combat ability of everyone. This is the strongest mutant person army remaining in Tian High City. With this reinforcement, their combat power has increased another level. Burning with fury, violent ice and snow, Xiao Hong Lan and Wai Dinghai launch simultaneous attacks. Fire and snowstorms blanket two directions, assaulting the hailstorm. Jiang Yi uses the spatial door to protect everyone. Qi Guaiming looks up at Yuan Kongyi in the air, raises his black sniper rifle, and loudly declares, "To catch the bandit, we must catch their leader. Only by dealing with Yuan Kongyi can everything come to an end. Just dealing with the hailstorm is ineffective." A beam of light shoots from the barrel of his gun, aimed directly at Yuan Kongyi. Although Yuan Kongyi sees it, she does not care about the bullet, as she thinks it is merely like a mosquito to her. But just a moment later, her brows furrow slightly. That bullet actually penetrated her mindfulness power. The bullet stopped just a few centimeters from her. Yuan Kongyi is taken aback, not expecting this bullet could break through her mindfulness power. Qi Guangming frowns and helplessly says, "Her abilities are very diverse. We basically have no way to cope." Zhang Yi curiously glanced at him and asked, "What is your bullet? How can it penetrate her mindfulness power barrier? Previously, Wudi's plasma shots didn't affect that barrier at all." Qi Guangming replied, "That's the primordial bullet. They are specially designed to deal with mutated creatures, including mutant persons." Hearing this, Zhang Yi couldn't help but ponder. The Jiangnan headquarters truly lives up to their reputation. Less than 6 months after the apocalypse began, they'd even developed specialized ammunition to deal with mutant persons. He also wondered whether his spatial gate could block the primordial bullet. However, after careful consideration, he realized that this gadget would not affect him, as his spatial gate was not a defensive superpower, but rather a portal to an alternate dimension. The primordial bullet is likely used primarily to attack mutant persons who rely on defensive superpowers, such as enhanced individuals, beastmen, or those with mindfulness power that creates protective walls. As Zhang Yi was deep in thought, Bai Lai Chang King's voice interrupted his contemplations. "We can't let her control the situation any longer. From now on, everyone must follow my orders." Then he stared intently at Yuan Kongyi in the sky and said, "Regardless of how powerful her superpowers are at the moment, she is still just a young girl. In terms of combat experience, she is still lacking. Therefore, it is very easy for her to expose her weaknesses." Bai Lai Chang King quickly formulated a battle plan for everyone. He suggested, "Qi Guanming, fire another shot. I have noticed a weakness in Yuan Kongyi. She cannot do two things at once. When attacked by Qi Guangming with the primordial bullet, Yuan Kongyi's ability to manipulate mindfulness power clearly decreased. The movement speed of the rocks in the air also slowed down. You continue to use long-range attack skills. Qi Guangming, use the primordial bullet to restrain her. I will take care of the main attack." As for the finishing blow, Bai Lai Chang King glanced at Jiang Yi. "When the time comes, we will make sure you have the opportunity to use your divine power skill to deal a finishing blow to Yuan Kongyi." From the beginning to the end, Jiang Yi had not actually attacked, but Bai Lai Chang King knew he had a powerful damaging move, Divine Power. Although the attack range is not large in terms of power, Divine Power is certainly not inferior to Ban Jun Wu. Bai Lai Chang King continued, "We will create an opportunity for you to strike Yuan Kongyi with a critical hit." He continued, "If necessary, I will rush in and wrap myself around her. You can count me in to die in the same place." Jiang Yi nodded in agreement. Jiang Yi and Xiao Hong Lion felt a tremor in their hearts upon hearing this. Bai Lai Chang King was even willing to sacrifice his own life to kill Yuan Kongyi. The members of the investigation team seemed unfazed by this. They had long ceased to care about death in order to complete their mission. It wasn't that they were not afraid of death, but that sometimes sacrifice was necessary. Otherwise, it would lead to greater losses. Just like today, if they couldn't kill Yuan Kongyi, none of them would survive to leave. Bai Lai Chang King bore the greatest pressure because, among everyone here, no one could match his close combat abilities. Bai Lai Chang King shouted loudly, "All right, let's begin." Xiao Hong Lan and the others quickly continued to launch their attacks, fiercely assaulting Yuan Kongyi. Qi Guangming also raised his gun and fired a primordial bullet. Yuan Kongyi noticed and realized that this black bullet should not be underestimated. She frowned, creating a large wall of ice in front of her to block it. Although the primordial bullet had special functions against mutant persons, its physical attack was relatively uniform. As a result, the large wall of ice was able to stop it. Yuan Kongyi raised her left hand, and all the superpowers attacking her from the air were extinguished like a flame meeting water. At that moment, Bai Lai Chang King transformed into a yellow lightning bolt, jumping high from the ground, holding a large lance, attacking from behind Yuan Kongyi. A silent yet powerful strike, the lance carried immense force, thrusting toward the back of Yuan Kongyi. Yuan Kongyi's eyes brightened. She did not turn around, but sensed Bai Lai Chang King's attack. An invisible wave spread through the air, and a barrier of mindfulness power blocked behind her. Yet, the large lance pierced through the barrier of mindfulness power and drew closer to Yuan Kongyi's back, just less than 30 centimeters away. Bai Lai Chang King tightened his grip on the lance, channeling energy to create an opportunity for Zhang Yi to attack. He could not maintain a force in the air for long. Although this strike was powerful, it could not be sustained for long. Taking advantage of the moment Yuan Kongyi was distracted, that was the time Zhang Yi used divine power. Jiang Yi realized the opportunity had come. It's my turn to go to battle. Brilliant light flickered in his eyes, directed straight at Yuan Kongyi in the air, covering Bai Lai Chang King behind her. In the battle between masters, life and death are determined in the blink of an eye. Yuan Kongyi's distraction gave Zhang Yi the chance to seal the divine power. Tremendous pressure distorted space, ultimately causing Yuan Kongyi's gaze to shake. At that moment, she realized that Zhang Yi actually knew magic eyes. Yuan Kongyi confidently thought to herself, "Then let's see whose superpower, Bian Junwu or your magic eyes, is stronger." Between her and Jiang Yi, the space exhibited a strange twisting phenomenon. At this moment, a dazzling white light erupted in Yuan Kongyi's eyes, enveloping the area around them. In the space between them, a brilliantly colored sphere appeared, even bending the light itself. A moment later, the blinding light in the sky vanished, and everything returned to normal. On the ground, the light sphere appeared as if it had been touched by a glowing welding rod, creating a large, shiny hole. An image fell to the ground like a shooting star. Bai Lai Chang King in white battle attire was thrown down to the earth. This muscular man was currently spewing a stream of fresh blood from his mouth. Bai Lai Chang King coughed and thought to himself, "The captain has been killed, and her superpower has indeed quickly been seized by her." With a pained expression, he looked towards Yuan Kongyi and said, "Just now, I felt it very clearly. That was Bian Junwu's annihilation technique. She has even mastered Bian Junwu's superpower." Xiao Hong Lion exclaimed in surprise. She has also mastered Bian Junwu's superpower. They all knew the strength of Bian Junwu, having witnessed it firsthand. It was a superpower that could single-handedly eliminate hundreds of thousands of zombies. It was horrifying. The others were also shocked and exclaimed, "Now that Yuan Kongyi has obtained Bian Junwu's superpower, how can we fight back?" Bai Lai Chang King stood up and said loudly, "No, she is not the captain. She has only grasped this force and is not yet adept at using it. We can defeat her." He was very confident about this point, because if Bian Junwu had used her abilities, he wouldn't have been able to stand up now. Yuan Kongyi kept her eyes fixed on Zhang Yi. His divine power had appeared, causing her to feel pressure. That force was enough to confront her. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi silently took out a bun and stuffed it into his mouth. His divine power was being depleted too much. He needed to replenish his superpower in time. Fortunately, he was someone with spatial abilities able to replenish energy in time. Thanks to his spatial abilities, he was never afraid of power depletion. But no one noticed that Yuan Kongyi's eyes were filled with killing intent at that moment. At first, she did not take these people seriously. With her power, she believed she was close to the realm of the divine, and these weak mortals could do nothing to her. However, Zhang Yi's divine power had instilled a bit of fear in her heart. Perhaps these mortals truly had the capability to harm her. This fear made her angry, and she decided to stop playing around and quickly kill everyone in front of her. Yuan Kongyi cursed inwardly. "Just mortals who dare to hurt me? Damn, all of you should die." A storm greater than ever before began to appear. The black vortex swept up countless pieces of rock, ice, and everything around, turning into a massive whirlwind. This aggressive vortex advanced towards the crowd of forces, causing them to carefully flee. The whirlwind sucked in everything around, making the ground beneath their feet begin to destabilize. They hurriedly stepped back, trying to escape the vortex, because once pulled inside, it would surely mean death. Just when they thought they had run far enough, a powerful blizzard suddenly descended upon the ground, bringing ice, rocks, and all kinds of terrifying abilities unleashed by Yuan Kongyi. Everyone was unable to resist. Their superpowers were also very strong, but on a completely different level. Once a mutant person reached level 5 legend, which is the strongest level of mutant person, they are no longer on the same tier as lower-ranking mutant persons. Until now, there has only been one legendary figure in the entire Hua nation. Faced with the terrifying power of Yuan Kongyi, everyone was struggling to hold back. Zhang Yi's spatial door could not fully protect everyone, but this method of defense could withstand all physical attacks, temporarily keeping him and those in his group safe. Chunlei suggested, "Leader, let's run. How can we fight? Her abilities are too strong. Even finding her weaknesses is impossible." Jiang Yi responded, "Run? Where to? Do you think we can escape?" If it were just Jiang Yi, escaping would definitely not be a problem, but taking these people along made it impossible. Even though he could react with the speed of traversing space, they could not. Just a slight delay would allow Yuan Kong Yi to catch up quickly. Jiang Yi spoke loudly for everyone to understand. Now there is only one decisive battle left. If we win, the city of Tianhai will be peaceful from now on. If we lose, we will all die. Jiang Yi stared at Yuan Kong Yi in the air. His right eye was accumulating divine power, ready to unleash. Yuan Kong Yi sensed this force, and her body suddenly became ethereal, as if countless images were overlapping in one place, making it impossible for Jiang Yi to lock onto her position. Yuan Kong Yi smiled smugly, thinking to herself, "You want to trap me? Let's see how you use your magic eyes this time." However, the greatest advantage of Jiang Yi's group was their large numbers. Bai Lai Chang King had said, Yuan Kong Yi's combat experience is not rich enough. Even with strong power, she still has weaknesses. Once targeted by Jiang Yi's divine power, Yuan Kong Yi could not focus on dealing with us, creating opportunities for everyone to attack from different angles. Yuan Kong Yi's cold voice echoed throughout the space. "Do you want to resist me? Do you think you can do it?" She waved her hands, unleashing a terrifying storm that spread in all directions as if she aimed to take down everyone in one strike. The primary targets of this attack were Zhang Yi and Qi Guangming, but all the ordinary people and mutant persons nearby were also swept up. Xingtian unleashed his superpower at its widest range to support everyone. The Xingtian Legion coordinated their actions. Qi Guangming held a sniper rifle in his hand, aiming directly at Yuan Kong Yi's head, creating considerable pressure for her. Although she was not afraid of Qi Guangming, being inadvertently injured was not something she desired. Bai Lai Chang King held a spear in his hand, constantly looking for an opportunity to strike a fatal blow. Attacked from multiple sides, Yuan Kong Yi cursed under her breath. What a bunch of annoying pests. After mastering the mindfulness power, Yuan Kong Yi could hover in the air. Her voice echoed again. "Do you really think you can resist me?" How laughable. The whirlwinds created by Yuan Kong Yi became increasingly powerful. Noticing the dangerous situation, Zhang Yi immediately activated the space portal, whisking everyone away in an instant. Just as they left, the spot they had just occupied was suddenly bombarded by a barrage of stones falling from above. Seeing the large rocks continuously flying towards his group, Jiang Yi opened the space portal and shouted, "Everyone follow me." As they stepped into the space portal, a gigantic rock flew towards them. One more second of delay, and surely no one would survive. However, Qi Guangming did not have the ability to escape like Zhang Yi. The power of Yuan Kong Yi enveloped every corner around him. As long as he looked up, a black whirlwind hundreds of meters high would trap him in the middle, making it impossible to escape. Yuan Kong Yi was like a being from a higher dimension, seemingly mocking his life. Just when Qi Guangming didn't know what to do, a shout suddenly rang out beside him. "Break it for me!" Qi Guangming broke out in a cold sweat and turned to Bai Lai Chang King, asking, "How did you get here?" A giant knight with a lance appeared from the storm, tearing a hole. Bai Lai Chang King rushed in, grabbed Qi Guangming's arm, and pulled him out of the whirlwind. Yuan Kong Yi witnessed this, realizing it was the deputy team investigator, a person with high-level enhanced abilities. She thought to herself, "Such strong defense, but it won't matter. How long can you hold off my attack?" Within a 3-kilometer radius, fragments of rock and snow were flying everywhere. Everything became her control objects. Yuan Kong Yi's energy seemed endless, continuously attacking that group. Behind them, Jiang Yi attacked once again. His divine power focused on Yuan Kong Yi. Without hesitation, she used her annihilation ability to counter it. The greatest threat to her at this moment was Zhang Yi. Both sides emitted strange lights in the sky, quickly becoming buried in the fierce battle. Jiang Yi's group also quickly left, glancing back at him anxiously. Jiang Yi instructed Liang Yu and his team, "You all should leave here quickly. This battle is not something you can interfere in. A strategy of many people will not be effective against a superior Yun person." Now, across the entire battlefield, the only ones who could influence Yuan Kong Yi were perhaps just a few scattered individuals. Those who remained only became targets for Yuan Kong Yi and added more burden to their teammates. Therefore, Zhang Yi decided to use his last bit of strength to get others out. Even Liang Yu, despite her strong close combat abilities, found it hard to be effective in the current situation. Lan Yu wanted to say more, but she immediately realized the frightful seriousness of Jiang Yi's expression. Time was pressing, and Jiang Yi did not want to waste time debating with them. Everyone had to follow his orders. Lan Yu was slightly intimidated by Zhang Yi's gaze, but quickly understood that her abilities would be of little significant help to Zhang Yi and could even hinder his ability to use his space travel power. Okay, let's go. Lan Yu, Uncle Wang, and Chun Li climbed onto Hua Hua's back. She didn't forget to say to Zhang Yi, "Be careful, Zhang Yi." Jiang Yi waited until Hua Hua had moved quite far away, ensuring they had reached a safe area before he felt reassured. On the battlefield, Xiao Hong Lian, Wai Dinghe, Xing Tian, and the members of the investigation team became the key forces. Yuan Kong Yi, after harnessing the power of mindfulness, could hover in the air. Therefore, those with enhancement abilities, except for Bai Lei Chang King, all retreated to support and protect those who were fighting. Mutant persons like Meng Sai Yu and Yi Ji Kang also did not hesitate to leave the battlefield. Wu Di, with a gaze full of hatred, surrounded by dazzling plasma guns, continuously fired powerful blows like rain towards Yuan Kong Yi. Xing Tian also used his ability to enhance his teammates. Wai Dinghe, with a fierce snowstorm, and Xiao Hong Lian, with a massive flame like a fire dragon, exerted their full strength to attack Yuan Kong Yi in order to wear her down and distract her attention. Everyone understood that to defeat Yuan Kong Yi, Jiang Yi was the key. Only his attacks could truly threaten her. Wu Di, who usually had the worst attitude towards Jiang Yi, also demonstrated the professionalism of a member of the elite investigation team, supporting Zhang Yi in creating the most favorable conditions for the battle. The cold voice of Yuan Kong Yi echoed from above. Truly, a bunch of ants that won't die no matter how much they are beaten. Seeing Zhang Yi trying to attack him from behind, Yuan Kong Yi thought to himself, "There's still this person persistently looking for a chance to target me. If he doesn't die, I will have to be distracted guarding against him." Faced with the attack of more than 10 mutant persons, Yuan Kong Yi felt frustrated. Although these attacks were insignificant, she always had to be vigilant against Jiang Yi, who possessed the ability to launch decisive attacks. Once she let her guard down with just a small opportunity, he could inflict serious injuries on Yuan Kong Yi. In Yuan Kong Yi's eyes, a beam of cold white light erupted fiercely. She shouted, "Even knowing that the outcome is definitely death, why are you still struggling? Enough! I no longer have the patience to play this game with you. Let me thoroughly cleanse you." Yuan Kong Yi hovered in the sky, the light from her eyes spreading everywhere. Her power was unleashed to its maximum capacity, enough to destroy everything, making everyone remember the image of Bayan Junwu, who had annihilated hundreds of thousands of zombies in a previous battle. The faces of Bai Lai Chang King and the others turned pale, as they sensed that the power of this attack was on par with that of Bayan Junwu. At this moment, Bai Lai Chang King shouted loudly, "Run! Run very far!" He grabbed He Guangming with one hand and Wu Di with the other, his figure turning into a blur as he dashed towards Zhang Yi. Jiang Yi extended his right arm, fully opening the space gate, creating a door as large as the heavens. Xiao Hong Lian and the others acted similarly, understanding that they could only rely on Zhang Yi's space portal to block this terrible force. However, some unfortunate mutant persons did not have time to reach Jiang Yi. They cried out in despair, "Help me!" But immediately they were consumed by annihilation, turned to dust. The white light on the ground disappeared, leaving a terrifying silence. Jiang Yi breathed a sigh of relief, thinking to himself, "Fortunately, my space gate has withstood Yuan Kong Yi's attack. An attack with such a wide range cannot be like divine power. She concentrated all of her strength on one point, so it's hard to create any threat to my space gate." However, just this one strike nearly wiped out all the mutant persons. Wai Jinghe pushed his bone armor to the limit. The thick, heavy armor shielded his entire body, but when the light swept across the ground, his armor crumbled like paper. Instinctively, Wai Jinghe extended his right arm in front of him to block, but his arm, too, disintegrated completely as if made of fake material. In the final moment, he managed to run into the range of Jiang Yi's space gate, thus saving his life. At this moment, only a few leaders of the major forces and a small number of surviving members of the investigation team remained. People didn't have time to feel sorrowful, as the current issue was whether they could survive or not. Even though they had used all their strength, it still caused no harm to Yuan Kong Yi. On the contrary, they suffered catastrophic losses. Wai Dinghe questioned himself. What should I do next to fight? Just wait to die. He used bandages to freeze the wound on his arm, but fortunately, he was not a mutant person specialized in close combat, so losing one arm still allowed him to continue fighting. Despair began to take hold in everyone's hearts. Legendary level mutant persons truly could not be defeated. Yuan Kong Yi looked down at Jiang Yi and the others, coldly saying, Jiang Yi, your abilities are very strong, but I have absorbed the superpower of 36 people, including Bai and Jun Wu's abilities. How will you cope with this? She smiled, pointing her index finger at him. I also desire your abilities. Jiang Yi glanced at Yuan Kong Yi without saying anything, because for him, action was the best answer at this moment. He told everyone with determination, now we all have to risk our lives, use anything we can. If not, we will die right here. Wu Ding gritted his teeth and replied, we know without you reminding us. Although he spoke outwardly that way, in his heart he silently thought, is it really possible to win by risking everything? As a member of the investigative team, he didn't want to utter words that went against his conscience, but he also understood that Zhang Yi was determined to fight. At least there was still a glimmer of hope for survival. Otherwise, everyone would surely die. Yuan Kong Yi did not wait for Zhang Yi and the others to finish speaking, immediately starting a new wave of attacks. This time, the assault originated from underground. Beneath their feet, the ground erupted with loud explosions as hundreds of blue frost ice thorns shot up from the earth, stabbing into the crowd. This was the ability of the priest Zhang Yi. Initially, she was just a normal type of special substance capable of growing thorns from her body as a combat tactic. Upon her death, she was left with nothing but shattered bones from the previous battle with the zombies. But in Yuan Kong Yi's hands, her power became incredibly formidable. This unexpected attack caught everyone off guard. Jiang Yi quickly activated his time travel ability to leave immediately. The others hurriedly used every means possible, even facing great danger, to try and halt the fierce attack. Jiang Yi's words inspired everyone's fighting spirit. They began to fight with all their might. Wu Dang gritted his teeth, and suddenly, a powerful spirit surged from his body, making his hair stand on end. In an instant, his hair turned snow white and a strong spiritual force surrounded his body. He shot up into the air, heading straight towards Yuan Kong Yi. Seeing this scene, Bai Lai Chang King, Qi Guangming, and the members of the investigation team displayed faces of unbearable tension, but they knew that this was a decisive moment for the survival of all. Bai Lai Chang King thought to himself, Wu Di is using the power of the plasma gun, depleting his spiritual energy. When this energy is used excessively, it will also drain his lifespan. He has recklessly ignored the consequences and has begun to frantically burn his own life. At this moment, Wu Di no longer cared about the consequences. This action could temporarily help him reach the threshold of legend. Wu Di's transformation caught Yuan Kong Yi's attention. She frowned, not expecting a new trouble to arise. Wu Di let out a mad laughter. Ha ha ha. He knew what this action meant for him, but now he had no other choice. Bi and Jun Wu could sacrifice for the team, and he could do the same. Wu Di shouted in madness, Die for me, you detestable fool. Around Wu Di, countless bright orbs were launched from his right hand towards Yuan Kong Yi to attack. In terms of power, it was completely incomparable to before, having at least increased by several levels. The gigantic plasma gun moved at incredible speed, containing overwhelmingly destructive energy. He raised his arm high, creating a massive cluster of spiritual energy orbs with a radius of nearly 1 meter, then forcefully threw it towards Yuan Kong Yi. The others also coordinated with Wu Di, attacking from all directions. Especially Zhang Yi, he circled behind Yuan Kong Yi, using divine power to lock her down before beginning the attack. Yuan Kong Yi did not dare to hesitate. She felt the imminent threat of death and immediately shouted, Annihilation. The terrifying light of annihilation erupted from the center of Yuan Kong Yi, spreading out in all directions. Jiang Yi and Wu Di both exerted all their strength, one in front and one behind. The terrifying power in the air intertwined and collided, creating a horrific scene. Then, the devastating explosion buried everything around. Uncle Wang and Liang Yu, witnessing this scene, were shocked and thought to themselves, is it over? The white light on the ground disappeared. Chang Yi breathed a sigh of relief, thinking to himself, fortunately, my spatial gate has withstood Yuan Kong Yi's attack. An attack with such a wide range cannot concentrate all its power on a single point like my divine power, so it is unlikely to pose a significant threat to the spatial gate. However, just this one blow had nearly wiped out the muted persons. After a while of fighting against many opponents, Yuan Kong Yi finally showed signs of exhaustion on her face. She thought to herself, if this continues, sooner or later I will be exhausted to death. She possessed countless types of superpowers, but the energy in her body was almost depleted. Facing two mutant persons working together to deliver a powerful strike, Yuan Kong Yi could no longer defend herself easily. However, after this blow, Wu Di's condition suddenly changed. His face quickly turned pale, his gaze became gloomy, and he appeared visibly aged. He looked at Yuan Kong Yi and muttered, Still not dead. No way. In an instant, he seemed like a plane crash victim, falling from the sky. This attack had drained all his strength. Bai Lai Chang King quickly moved forward, using one hand to support the struggling Wu Di. On Zhang Yi's side, he fought while rapidly stuffing superpower food into his mouth. He was not afraid of exhausting himself in battle, because even when continuously using divine power, his superpower could be replenished quickly. Jiang Yi and Wu Di worked together to unleash their strongest attack, but in the end, it only made Yuan Kong Yi even more fatigued. The current situation was not very optimistic. Except for Jiang Yi, all the others were injured to varying degrees. Wu Di was completely exhausted and could not continue fighting. Xiao Hong Lianon, with fresh blood oozing from the corners of her mouth, could not withstand the remaining force of annihilation, even with the infernal furnace. Wai Dinghe had lost an arm and was almost completely weak. Now, only Zhang Yi and Bai Lai Chang King remained standing on the battlefield. Zhang Yi looked at Bai Lai Chang King and thought, can the two of them defeat Yuan Kong Yi, who is nearly invincible? Now a sense of despair was flooding his mind. The strength of a peak mutant person over lower-level mutant persons was an absolute crushing force like this. If it weren't for Bayan Junwu's death, Bai Lai Chang King might have even considered recruiting her into their ranks, becoming a member of the Jiangnan region. But he could not do that, as it would be a betrayal of the Brotherhood of Life and Death. Yuan Kong Yi's voice echoed like that of a deity. What do you need to suffer and struggle like this for? It only prolongs the pain. It would be better to be quiet and let me kill you. That way, you will also be freed. Although Zhang Yi was strong, he could not break Yuan Kong Yi's mindfulness power with just divine power. Yuan Kong Yi felt immensely satisfied with the strong feeling he had. The feeling of being able to control and destroy everything was truly wonderful. On the battlefield outside, some members of the investigation team could no longer bear to watch. Their abilities were not suited to fight against Yuan Kong Yi, and they were heartbroken to see their comrades brutally killed right before their eyes. Only Liang Yu and her group, hiding behind the boulder, maintained their faith in Zhang Yi. Liang Yu whispered, Jiang Yi is the one who fears death the most, so why does he claim to be a hero in such an uncertain situation? He must have a way. Jiang Yi spoke frankly. It seems you have reached your limit. Although you have done more than I imagined, you are almost out of strength. Jiang Yi's words came across as arrogant, surprising those around him. They acknowledged Jiang Yi's great power in restraining Yuan Kong Yi, but in their impression, Jiang Yi was strong in defense rather than attack. Today, if it were a one-on-one fight, he could be defeated by Yuan Kong Yi in just 5 seconds. Therefore, they did not understand why Zhang Yi's attitude had suddenly changed like this. Xiao Hong Lion thought to herself, does he still hide his true power? Jiang Yi waved at everyone, his gaze always fixed on Yuan Kong Yi, not leaving for a second. You all should leave here. Let me take charge of the next battle. Everything that has happened so far has gone exactly as Jiang Yi predicted. These mutant persons came here primarily to help him deplete Yuan Kong Yi's strength. From the very beginning, Jiang Yi did not expect to rely on them to defeat her. Bai Lai Chang King looked at Jiang Yi in surprise. Jiang Yi, you're not joking, are you? Jiang Yi coldly replied, do you think I look like I'm joking? No one wanted to seek death at this moment, but they also did not believe that Jiang Yi would sacrifice himself or others like that. Since Jiang Yi had said so, they had no choice but to trust him. Xiao Hong Lion shouted loudly, that you do it. She and Wai Dinghe, without hesitation, pulled their injured bodies and ran away. Xing Tian glanced at Jiang Yi and gritted his teeth. Jiang Yi, our last hope is entrusted to you. He focused all of his remaining superpower into one spot and then transferred it entirely to Zhang Yi. This made Jiang Yi feel that his body was stronger, more agile, and even his senses became extremely sharp. Bai Li Chang King said to his teammates, take him away, I will stay here to fight alongside Jiang Yi until the end. Wu Di, who was exhausted and nearly breathless, was assisted off the battlefield. Bai Li Chang King, despite his serious injuries, still managed to keep it together and was determined not to leave the battlefield. Jiang Yi witnessed this but did not intervene. If Bai Li Chang King wanted to fight, then let him fight. However, Jiang Yi did not expect Bai Li Chang King to make a significant impact in this battle. Yuan Kong Yi also did not stop others from leaving. She knew that as long as she wanted, no one in Tian High City could escape her grasp. She was merely curious about Jiang Yi's attitude, unsure of what this man ultimately intended to do. Bai Li Chang King threw a black pistol to Zhang Yi. Jiang Yi immediately recognized it as the sidearm of Captain Bian Junwu. Jiang Yi furrowed his brow and asked, a gun. Bai Li Chang King replied, there are about 20 primordial bullets inside. Primordial bullets intrigued Zhang Yi. They were specially designed to counter mutant persons and could even pose a threat to Yuan Kong Yi. Jiang Yi looked up at Yuan Kong Yi, his eyes slightly narrowed. All right, I will use them. He looked into the distance and said, everything must come to an end, right? Hearing that, Yuan Kong Yi sneered. Who gave you that confidence, Zhang Yi? You have no idea about my strength. I haven't even used my full power yet. She spread her arms wide, superpower swirling around her to form two violent whirlwinds. Her voice became extremely confident. Now, I've just begun to adapt to holding many new abilities in my body. Don't worry, I will quickly kill you and then take your power. After saying this, a storm even more terrifying than the last appeared. The ground beneath Jiang Yi and Bai Lai Chang King was being destroyed more seriously. Countless pieces of rock were flying up and hovering in midair. Bai Lai Chang King leveraged his agile speed to jump onto each piece of rock, preparing to attack Yuan Kong Yi. Yuan Kong Yi's gaze was fierce. Go to hell. She extended her left hand, aiming at Bai Lai Chang King with bloodthirsty eyes. A massive force of mindfulness power directly swept Bai Lai Chang King away. He, unwilling, shouted, no. Even someone possessing a strong enhancement ability while in the air could not use his power. Jiang Yi did not care about Bai Lai Chang King. When the ground beneath him began to shake, his figure flickered in the air and appeared right in front of Yuan Kong Yi. The super space power he used was not affected by external influences. Therefore, as long as Zhang Yi controlled the space door well, he could move freely within a radius of 300 meters, even stopping in midair. Yuan Kong Yi saw that Zhang Yi intended to attack her. She spoke with a smug tone. Do you think you can hurt me from behind? Yuan Kong Yi waved her hand, and a long water spout thousands of meters long appeared, like a sword thrusting violently towards Zhang Yi. But Zhang Yi did not evade. He stood on the rubble of a collapsed building and extended his right hand. That tornado completely entered Zhang Yi's space door. After a moment, another space door unexpectedly opened to the right of Yuan Kong Yi, and the water spout she released began to attack her back. Yuan Kong Yi merely narrowed her eyes, and that gigantic water spout was quickly destroyed by her. Yuan Kong Yi coldly said, a space door, huh? Do you think you can withstand this strike of mine? Just after a moment centered on Jiang Yi, hundreds of whirlwinds appeared from all directions, forming a storm rushing towards Jiang Yi. The tornadoes exploded, sweeping through space, turning rocks into tiny fragments and destroying everything. But then, Zhang Yi appeared from outside the battlefield, completely unharmed, and his expression remained calm as ever. Bai Lai Chang King, Xiao Hong Lian, and the others were all very astonished at this sight. Xiao Hong Lian couldn't help but say, so he has never really used his true strength in front of us. Perhaps only Liang Yu and the others know just how terrifying Zhang Yi's life-protecting abilities really are. The spatial door is already too abnormal, and now he even has the ability to traverse space, enough to be immune to most physical attacks. Yuan Kong Yi saw Jiang Yi safe and sound, and a trace of fear flickered in her eyes, but she quickly sneered. Is avoiding attacks all you can do? Despite her dislike for Jiang Yi's abilities, Yuan Kong Yi felt no fear. During this time, they had gathered enough intelligence on the abilities of all the new people in Tian'an High City. They analyzed Jiang Yi's strength early on and concluded that his defensive capabilities were very powerful, but his attacks were not effective enough. Even though Zhang Yi had divine power, the energy consumption for this ability was too great. Unless it was a surprise attack, it would be impossible to inflict damage on Yuan Kong Yi in a direct confrontation. She believed that she could not fail, and Zhang Yi was confident that he would not lose. The sharpest arrow faced the strongest shield. In the end, who would emerge victorious? Those observing from a distance were extremely tense. They could only pray for Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi laughed and made a provocative gesture towards Yuan Kong Yi. Let's see if you can kill me. Yuan Kong Yi's reaction was anger. She intensified her attacks even more. However, Zhang Yi was a head above her. He had certainly calculated everything very carefully before deciding to confront her head-on. He had a lot of experience fighting nude persons in the air. Jiang Yi's figure kept moving. With the ability to traverse space, his self-defense capability was truly remarkable. Yuan Kong Yi couldn't lock him down to attack, while ordinary physical attacks were absorbed by the space door. Thus, she had no choice but to expand her attack range so that Jiang Yi could not escape the attack area. Yuan Kong Yi angrily said, I'll see how you can escape. But Yuan Kong Yi did not expect that Jiang Yi would demonstrate a new ability at this moment. Although the space door had a vast range and strong defensive capability, its weakness was that it could only defend from one direction and could not move. After acquiring this ability, Jiang Yi kept improving it. He developed a more flexible defensive skill, the space shield. He could compress two space doors into a large-sized shield and then control it with both hands. Although the area was reduced, the defensive ability against attacks from all directions became even more flexible and convenient. He didn't need to use his hands to launch an attack. Currently, his only effective method of attack was divine power. Zhang Yi continuously used provocative words to annoy Yi, causing her to lose control. Is this all you're capable of? This battle dragged on, and everything of the worship, the Snow Sect, had now become desolate. But Jiang Yi still had not defeated Yi. Every fierce attack from Yi was absorbed by Zhang Yi through his spatial shield and then bounced back. He was not in a passive position to take hits. Whenever he found an opening in Yi, he would use divine power to strike at her. On the contrary, she was always wary of the power of divine power, unable to attack recklessly with other superpowers. Each time Zhang Yi used divine power, she also had to use annihilation to counterattack. This was exactly what Jiang Yi wanted, as annihilation would weaken her the fastest. The area surrounding the ruins of worship, the Snow Sect, within a 10-kilometer radius had become their battlefield. Light orbs appeared in the sky, and everything within that range was shattered, leaving almost nothing behind. Currently, Jiang Yi could not compare to Yi's fighting strength. He could not prolong the battle too long, ending it sooner was more advantageous for him. With the support of Xingtian's power and the large amount of superpower food stored in his superpower space, he continuously charged energy to restore his stamina and superpower during the fight. Otherwise, after using divine power 5 times, he would be completely exhausted. Jiang Yi's advantage was that Yi lacked proficient combat experience. Others could only stand by and watch Zhang Yi fight. Even Bai Lai Chang King contemplated withdrawing from the battle. In this tier conflict, his involvement only complicated matters. He was not on par to participate. As a result, people's attitude towards Zhang Yi changed. Initially, they underestimated him, but now they were extremely astonished. Xiao Honglan and Wei Dinghe both exclaimed, "This defensive ability is truly astonishing. Luckily, we didn't continue fighting Zhang Yi before. Otherwise, we would surely have been the losers." Meng Yu said with a serious expression, "However, prolonging this situation is not a solution. The level disparity among mutant persons and the amount of superpower within them is indeed vast. Especially after reaching level 5, Legend, it cannot be understood from the perspective of an ordinary mutant person. While Zhang Yi may be able to delay Yi cannot defeat her. If Yi becomes bored, she can easily ignore him and attack us instead." Meng Yu is not wrong, and the atmosphere grew heavy. Jiang Yi only possesses strong defensive capabilities, preventing Yi from killing him in a short time. But if Yi wishes to lead, Zhang Yi cannot stop her. With Yi's skills, her flying speed is incredibly fast. She can completely bypass Zhang Yi and first eliminate the others. Bai Lei Chang King said helplessly, "We have no choice but to trust Zhang Yi. If Yi really wants to kill us, we certainly cannot escape from the hands of a legend." They had heard about the legend, the top mysterious strongman in Huaxia. You can kill from thousands of miles away from Shangjing headquarters. Faced with the absolute disparity in strength, every elaborate plan becomes meaningless. Unless Jiang Yi can defeat Yi, at least he must incapacitate her from pursuing. Otherwise, their escape would be pointless. At this moment, Zhang Yi and Yi had been fighting for quite some time. In Yi's eyes, impatience gradually emerged. She had used dozens of methods to deal with Zhang Yi, but the spatial shield and Zhang Yi's ability to traverse space were too extraordinary. However, everything seemed like a trap, neither able to attack nor catch him. This made Yi extremely furious. Her assaults became even more terrifying. Whenever she used annihilation, Zhang Yi would use divine power. The clashes of these two superpowers resonated violently. Once again, the space shimmered with brilliant colors. A tower was punctured, creating a circular hole, then it collapsed with a roar. Yi could not defeat Zhang Yi, making her even more anxious. At that moment, she remembered Zhang Yixian. She recalled his voice. "You just need to become the symbol of the worship, the Snow Sect. Performing the deity worship ritual every day is enough. Leave everything else to me." Yi silently told herself, "Zhang Yixian, if you were here, you would definitely know how to solve this problem, right?" She sighed internally. Suddenly, a flash of light appeared in her mind. Just capture the person that Zhang Yi is interested in. In her haste, she allowed Zhang Yi to pull her back into a fight, forgetting about the others. She wondered, if it were Zhang Yixian right now, what would he do? After a moment of reflection, Yi decided to ignore Zhang Yi, flying off in the distance, preparing to find Uncle Wang and the others to cause trouble. She seemed to be a little smarter this time. They needed to be eliminated first. Only then would Zhang Yi reveal a flaw. However, Yuan Kong Yi's cleverness came a bit too late. When she arrived, there was no sign of his group. Zhang Yi's eyes brightened and the corners of his mouth curled into a slight smile. Are you trying to play smart? It's too late now. At this moment, Yuan Kong Yi realized that Uncle Wang and the others had long since vanished from sight. It was all part of Jiang Yi's plan. Uncle Wang and his group were already missing without a trace. Yuan Kong Yi, engrossed in fighting Zhang Yi, had never noticed this. Only Xiao Honglian and her group were still nearby. Seeing Yuan Kong Yi rush over, their expressions changed in fright. Yuan Kong Yi glared at Zhang Yi in anger, but he seemed indifferent. He could not put himself in danger to save these people. If Yuan Kong Yi wanted to kill them, then she could go ahead. If she wanted to kill Bai Lai Chang King and Xiao Hong Lian, on the contrary, it would create an opportunity for Zhang Yi. Furious, Yuan Kong Yi shouted, "What a despicable person!" She looked toward Xiao Hong Lian, wary in her heart. As long as I show any vulnerability, Zhang Yi, the snake hiding behind its shell, will bite me painfully. Yuan Kong Yi tried to keep herself composed. Although her battle experience was lacking, she had learned a lot through practical combat. Yuan Kong Yi's calm expression gradually faded. Despite possessing overwhelming power, she had no way to deal with Zhang Yi's high-level defensive capabilities. Jiang Yi now resembled a legendary martial artist, his body as sturdy as a tortoise shell, impossible to break. Yuan Kong Yi sighed. Calm down, I can't let him lead me. I must find his weakness. Yuan Kong Yi had realized the characteristics of Jiang Yi's defensive ability. First, it has a limited range. The ability to warp space only operates within a radius of 300 meters. The spatial shield only protects the area around the user. Therefore, to defeat him, a large-scale and powerful attack must be used. Yuan Kong Yi had attempted this method, but it was ineffective. A new idea flashed in Yuan Kong Yi's mind. As long as I could restrict his space warping ability and break his shell, it shouldn't be too difficult to deal with him. Yuan Kong Yi's eyes gradually turned crimson and his hair flew as if there were no wind. From Yuan Kong Yi's center, hundreds of fire dragons suddenly appeared to attack Zhang Yi. The temperature was terrifyingly high. However, Zhang Yi was wearing combat gear. This special combat gear had the ability to withstand temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees for a short period. Jiang Yi used the spatial shield to block the incoming attacks. However, just in an instant, those giant fire dragons circled around him and suddenly struck the ground. Jiang Yi frowned and thought to himself, if it's not a direct attack on me, what is the purpose of this action? As the fire dragons crashed into the ground, thick white smoke rose immediately. Now everywhere was covered in ice and snow, and in an instant they melted into dense water vapor, simultaneously obscuring Zhang Yi's vision. Jiang Yi felt himself veering off course, and soon he sensed he was in a murky canyon, unable to see anything at all. He muttered, "Ha!" The temperature around him was rising. Jiang Yi wanted to leave this area, but the surrounding space had also been affected by the high temperature. Everything was shrouded in white mist. He couldn't even determine the direction. The sound of water echoed in Zhang Yi's ears. A massive lake had appeared on the ground. A strange sight unfolded. Droplets of water began to rise into the air, moving toward Jiang Yi and filling the space around him. He exclaimed, "Dan, she's doing this again." Jiang Yi quickly realized something was wrong. Even if he used his space traveling abilities, he couldn't escape the encompassing range of these droplets. The floating droplets in the air were increasing, forming a thick layer that covered a vast area. Jiang Yi looked somewhat worried, which greatly pleased Yuan Kong Yi. He muttered, "This will disrupt my movement." From above, Yuan Kong Yi exhaled, releasing a plume of white mist from his mouth. Soon, it transformed into a gigantic snowstorm. The thick layer of water began to freeze. In less than 2 seconds, it solidified into a block. The drop in temperature caused the fog to turn into ice particles that fell down. When the fog dissipated, an unbelievable sight appeared on the battlefield. A gigantic cube of ice standing imposingly at the center of the battlefield, stretching thousands of meters long. At this moment, Yuan Kong Yi appeared fatigued. The use of such large-scale superpower had drained a lot of her energy, but she wore a satisfied smile, thinking she had put Jiang Yi in a deadlock. Yuan Kong Yi shouted loudly, "Even if you can hide with such a large-scale attack, you will ultimately not be able to escape." A door opened on the enormous block of ice. Jiang Yi stepped out from the door, letting out a sigh of relief. Yuan Kong Yi was taken aback, her eyes filled with a tumultuous rage. She struggled to come up with this method, and unexpectedly, it could not defeat Zhang Yi. In a fit of anger, Yuan Kong Yi shouted frantically, "No way." Jiang Yi looked up into the sky with a smiling face and said, This combination technique is very interesting, but unfortunately, it has no effect on me. The superpower space is not suitable for life. It is merely a completely empty area, even lacking air, so staying there for a short time will not lead to death. It can be used as a temporary method to evade attacks in space. Jiang Yi used this ability to dodge Yuan Kong Yi's skills. Yuan Kong Yi shouted, "Jiang Yi, I don't believe I can't kill you." At this moment, she became agitated, like a 20-year-old girl being abused by others. This failure made Yuan Kong Yi think of her next move. However, as Yuan Kong Yi prepared to continue her actions, she suddenly felt a strong feeling of discomfort rising in her brain. Her vision began to blur. Yuan Kong Yi frowned and rubbed her forehead, not considering it a serious problem as she thought it was just because she was too tired. However, a small expression of Yuan Kong Yi was noticed by Zhang Yi. He smiled smugly, then waved at Yuan Kong Yi with a radiant demeanor. "Come on, if you have the ability, then kill me. Oh, by the way, let me tell you, the wound on Zhang Yixian's chest was caused by me." When this was said, Yuan Kong Yi's expression became more ferocious. She replied, "Okay, I will make you die and bury you with him." Jiang Yi said confidently, "Just wait and see, keep your eyes open." As Jiang Yi spoke, he was also continuously eating something. Superpower consumed too quickly, and he needed to continuously replenish his nutrition. Jiang Yi and Yuan Kong Yi continued to fight, fiercely struggling without gaining the upper hand. Yuan Kong Yi felt increasingly frustrated. In fact, it was not that Yuan Kong Yi lacked strength, but her combat experience was too limited. At this moment, under the provocation of Jiang Yi, Yuan Kong Yi was determined to kill in right here. However, the more Yuan Kong Yi fought, the more uncomfortable her body felt. She felt dizzy as if she were motion sick, and a strong sense of malice gradually began to emerge. The scene before her also became blurry, especially when Yuan Kong Yi went insane during the battle. This feeling became even more pronounced. Yuan Kong Yi suddenly realized that this sensation was not due to her mental state, nor was she suddenly falling ill. Realizing something, Yuan Kong Yi abruptly stopped in midair, shielding her pained forehead with her hand, and gritted her teeth to ask Zhang Yi, What have you done to me?" The smile on Zhang Yi's lips gradually grew more radiant. He thought to himself, "Sure enough, everything has begun, hasn't it? It seems that Baiyan Junwu's superpower toxin has infiltrated Yuan Kong Yi's body. No, I can't smile." He had to lead Yuan Kong Yi step by step into the abyss. If she discovered it, it would ruin the plan. Jiang Yi said mockingly, "It seems like you haven't managed to control the power within you. Perhaps my guess was correct. The superpower of the dead that you absorb still lingers on you, causing you to suffer like this." Yuan Kong Yi was angry, staring at Jiang Yi, but his words struck at Yuan Kong Yi's psyche, making her feel uneasy inside. After all, in order to achieve her goal of becoming powerful, she had used too many underhanded tactics, causing the deaths of many mutant persons using ice beats. Among them were many former loyal followers and even Zhang Yixian, the one most important to Yuan Kong Yi. She felt as if her conscience was tearing her apart. Yuan Kong Yi shouted, "Shut up! What do you know about me?" Yuan Kong Yi gritted her teeth, suppressing the pain, unleashing fierce attacks toward Jiang Yi. The ground cracked, dark clouds swirled, winds roared, flames burned intensely, and snow and ice fell. Countless types of superpowers were continuously unleashed by Yuan Kong Yi. All of this meant nothing to Zhang Yi. He couldn't be harmed by it. On the contrary, he felt even more pleased that everything was going according to his calculations. Jiang Yi was as resilient as ever. Even though he endured powerful attacks, he remained undefeated. At this moment, his only weakness was that his superpower was not as strong as Yuan Kong Yi's. Everything else was in its best state. Also, it should be noted that he had the support of Sting Tian and had stored a large amount of superpower food in his superpower space, enough for him to strike continuously. Perhaps everyone didn't understand the meaning of this battle. His strongest attack using divine power couldn't kill Yuan Kong Yi, but why did he continue to fight like that? The reality is that he was secretly building many plans. The first plan, based on the prerequisite that Yuan Kong Yi and Zhang Yixian could completely control their zombie forces, causing them to self-destruct their group of zombies to exchange for a brief peace in Tianhai City. After that, Jiang Yi would find a way to rely on the power of the Jiangnan region to destroy Worship the Snow Sect. When the first plan failed, the second plan was naturally initiated. His second plan regarding Yuan Kong Yi was the super toxin power. The key point of the second plan was the super toxin power in Baiyan Junwu's body. In this world, there are countless types of mutations, and these mutations are not always positive. There are also downsides to them. The flaw in Baiyan Junwu's ability is that each time he releases a skill, he has to endure the loss of light and inflict incurable wounds on his body. Because the mutation is at the genetic level, it cannot be treated with modern medicine. When Yuan Kong Yi absorbed the superpower from the Ice Beat Master, she also received his side effects. In this regard, Zhang Yi did not have to deduce it by himself. In the letter that Li Jian wrote to him, he mentioned something. Li Jian, at the Worship the Snow sect, learned about a goddess who had the ability to control the ice beat using her breath. This type of superpower has a side effect, which is to harm her lungs. Therefore, every time she used her ability, she often had a dry cough. Later, Li Jian witnessed Yuan Kong Yi killing the goddess. One day, when Yuan Kong Yi showcased her superpower in front of everyone to perform miracles for the believers, she also coughed several times, and this sound was exactly like that of the goddess before. Li Jian carefully described this detail to Jiang Yi. Therefore, Zhang Yi concluded that when Yuan Kong Yi absorbed the superpower, she would definitely also absorb the sudden side effects. Based on this, Plan 2 emerged, which was a carefully crafted plan centered around Bian Junwu. Bian Junwu has limited strength, and only Jiang Yi knows this. Throughout the entire Tianhai city, other forces do not possess this information. Yuan Kong Yi is also unaware of this significant loss. When Yuan Kong Yi received extremely powerful strength capable of destroying everything in sight, she was very excited and impatient to use this power, wanting to destroy everyone. But for a legendary level mutant person, the more they use their powers, the greater the side effects become. For example, Bian Junwu quickly exhausted his life force when he fully unleashed his abilities. Now, what Jiang Yi needed to do was to prolong the battle with Yuan Kong Yi, forcing her to continuously use her superpower. He had also calculated everything. The investigation team, along with a dozen mutant persons from major forces, had depleted a portion of Yuan Kong Yi's strength. Jiang Yi would only join in once they failed. Jiang Yi smiled enigmatically, thinking to himself, as long as I eliminate Yuan Kong Yi, not only will Tianhai City be completely peaceful, but those who have been defeated will no longer be able to compete with me for Yuan Kong Yi's powers. That is the ability of a legendary level mutant person. Once I absorb Yuan Kong Yi's powers, it means I will also absorb the abilities of dozens of other mutant persons. I will rise to legendary status as well. He would not let Yuan Kong Yi know any of this. If she found out, she might decide to flee instead of continuing the fight, and Jiang Yi would have no way to stop her. He intentionally used words to provoke Yuan Kong Yi. After careful calculation, he brought up Yuan Kong Yi's past. I know you hate this world and want to destroy everyone, but you are not completely innocent. If your parents had not founded a cult to deceive and exploit the believers, causing them to lose all their assets, you would not have ended up in this situation. Yuan Kong Yi suddenly contracted her pupils. The past was something Yuan Kong Yi always wanted to avoid, the greatest darkness in her heart. Jiang Yi made her remember those shattered memories once again. Kong Yi's parents died in an aviation accident. During her parents' funeral, furious followers burst in and knocked over their coffins. With no outlet for their anger, some even knocked Kong Yi down. She endured brutal torment. Shang Yixian rushed in like an injured beast to save Kong Yi and was trampled into the ground by others. Despite his pleas, they continued to torture Kong Yi. After a day and a night, the deep anguish had penetrated her bones, making Kong Yi doubt whether she could survive. Yuan Kong Yi suddenly clutched her head and screamed, "Shut up!" A boundless force like a storm began to radiate from her. At that moment, Yuan Kong Yi's gaze started to blur. She looked at Jiang Yi as if she could no longer recognize his form. Kong Yi's head ached more and more, a feeling of pain enveloping her. Unable to help herself, she asked Zhang Yi, "What did you do to me? Answer me quickly." He stood at a distance observing Yuan Kong Yi, unhurried at this moment. This type of superpower was untreatable. As long as Yuan Kong Yi began to erupt, the situation would continue to worsen. Jiang Yi smiled with a proud grin. "Guess whether I'll tell you or not?" The current situation he had orchestrated seemed to be achieving the desired result, but just because he had taken 99 steps did not mean he would be. Yuan Kong Yi angrily glared at Jiang Yi. In Kong Yi's heart, she concluded that Jiang Yi had definitely used some kind of power that caused her body to malfunction. Trash. Kong Yi's body began to emit a strong white light. This was Kong Yi's ability capable of healing all ailments and injuries of the human body. However, this time, as soon as she activated her power, Kong Yi sensed a situation that was not as expected. The discomfort in Kong Yi's body not only did not disappear, but also became worse. As Kong Yi intensified her superpower, her vision blurred even more and her headache grew more severe. Yuan Kong Yi suddenly felt a sharp pain in her chest and she couldn't help but cough violently. At her weakest moment, the situation became even more severe. Jiang Yi was determined not to miss the opportunity to attack. Taking advantage of this moment, Jiang Yi gave Yuan Kong Yi no room to breathe. Only the dead cannot harm others. He quickly used divine power, launching it straight at Yuan Kong Yi and continuing to attack. Yuan Kong Yi sensed the great danger approaching and used annihilation to counter this strike. Kong Yi was able to resist, but her body became even weaker. Cough, cough, cough. She coughed violently like a tuberculosis patient. From a distance, those who had lost the ability to fight observed, feeling extremely perplexed when they saw Yuan Kong Yi suddenly experiencing a physical issue. Because throughout the entire time, they had not seen Zhang Yi use any tricks, and knowing Jiang Yi well for a long time, they were fully aware of his abilities. He was a mutant person who controlled alien space and had no ability to poison others. Moreover, poisoning a legend-level mutant person in battle was nearly impossible. Bai Li Chang King suddenly understood everything when he saw Yuan Kong Yi coughing. He murmured, "That's the side effect of the captain's ability." Not only he, but all the members of the investigation team knew this. The mutant people of Tianhai City did not understand, but they knew very well. Meng Yu whispered when she absorbed the captain's superpower. She also received the side effects of that ability. Was this intentional on Zhang Yi's part, or just a fortunate coincidence? She turned to Bai Li Chang King and her group, asking, "Is that a coincidence?" Looking at everything, it didn't quite seem that way. But if Jiang Yi had planned it in advance, then his previous arrangement for Bai and Jun Wu to use Ice Beat was part of his strategy. Woogie weakly lay in the sleeping bag, cursing, "Shit, he really has been planning against us." Bai Li Chang King replied, "No, he hasn't done anything wrong. In that situation, his actions were the only way to save us. I think the captain knows that Zhang Yi is scheming against him, but the captain can only act this way." He began to feel admiration for Zhang Yi. This person can actually arrange such a grand chess game. That's really impressive. Even we have become pawns in his hands. Although feeling uncomfortable about being used by others, Bai Li Chang King still respected Zhang Yi's cunning and talent. Wu Bi shouted, "Ha, I definitely have to." He hadn't finished his sentence before he started coughing. Woogie was almost exhausted. A surge of excitement nearly made him faint. Mei Yu comforted him. "What's happening here doesn't concern us for now. You should rest first." Everyone looked at Jiang Yi and thought to themselves, Yuan Kong Yi is finally facing a problem. Suddenly, everyone felt anxious. They sensed a glimmer of hope for survival. Only if Jiang Yi defeated Yuan Kong Yi would they have a chance to survive. Everyone knew this. At this moment, Zhang Yi was eager to replenish his energy while continuing to fight Yuan Kong Yi from a distance. Yuan Kong Yi's body was gradually weakening, his gaze was dim, and he felt extremely uncomfortable. Jiang Yi no longer used divine power, as this type of superpower consumed too much of his energy. Although he could replenish it through food, he couldn't overdo it. He needed to maintain his strong fighting capability until the battle was over. He had anticipated every possible situation. Once Yuan Kong Yi was truly defeated, those around him would certainly not miss the opportunity to enjoy such a delicacy. This was a legendary mutant person, which everyone desired. Jiang Yi began to switch to using the primordial bullet Blian Jun Wu's handgun. It was larger and longer than a regular handgun. The bullets fired from the barrel carried destructive power. For ordinary people or objects, its power was no different from that of regular bullets. However, when facing a mutant person, its destructive capability was unimaginable. In the hands of Qie Guangming, it could already have a certain impact on Yuan Kong Yi. Moreover, now it was in Zhang Yi's hands, making its effectiveness even greater. Jiang Yi held Bi and Jun Wu's pistol, using his space-jumping ability to continuously evade Yuan Kong Yi's attacks. At the same time, Zhang Yi seized the opportunity when Kong Yi was in pain and unable to concentrate to shoot at her. Each primordial bullet carried formidable power. Yuan Kong Yi could originally use mindfulness power to move at high speed, evading the primordial bullet attacks, but she could not evade because once she started actively dodging Zhang Yi's attacks, it meant she had entered a defensive phase. She decided to use mindfulness power to block the primordial bullet, but this caused her superpower consumption rate to increase significantly. Damn, using superpower will only weaken me more and more. If I don't use it, Zhang Yi will quickly kill me. The side effects of superpower Bian Jun Wu became even more pronounced. In the end, Yuan Kong Yi realized the crux of the problem, but she was trapped in a dead end. If she did use superpower, Zhang Yi would quickly eliminate her. Not to mention there were many mutant persons around waiting for the opportunity to bring her down. For the first time, Yuan Kong Yi thought, "Am I really going to lose here?" She had always believed that no one could compare to her. Looking down over the city of Tianhai, thinking no one could stop Kong Yi's attacks. But the appearance of Jiang Yi, a mutant person, had pushed Kong Yi to a corner. Kong Yi could not break through Zhang Yi's defense. Of course, maintaining the current situation is not easy for Jiang Yi either. Without support and continuously consuming superpower foods to replenish energy, he definitely could not have fought against Yuan Kong Yi for so long. The amount of superpower in Yuan Kong Yi's body was so high that it made Jiang Yi feel overwhelmed. Fortunately, he had the ability to absorb energy from the outside. Zhang Yi attacked Yuan Kong Yi while mocking her. Yuan Kong Yi, how are you doing? After only a short time of fighting, are you already wanting to surrender? If you surrender and give up your superpower, I might consider letting you live. He tempted her, trying to confuse Yuan Kong Yi's mind. Yuan Kong Yi felt dazed, but her fighting strength remained extremely powerful. Possessing dozens of types of superpower, even if she could not see them, she could still sense her surroundings through her enhanced sensory system. She countered Jiang Yi with a massive ice strike, but it was swallowed by his space door. Yuan Kong Yi had almost lost all means to deal with Zhang Yi. She did not expect that Jiang Yi's superpower space contained so many types of superpower foods. It was like a low-level player carrying 10,000 health potions to fight a boss in a game. Although the attack power was not strong enough, the energy depletion would tire others out. If that were all, it would be fine, but she thought angrily to herself, why is my body undergoing a transformation? The problem definitely arose from Kong Yi's use of Ice Beat with Zhang Yi and his group. At first, she had calculated everything very carefully. Ice Beat could help awaken superpower, even stimulate potential, and faction leaders would certainly keep it for themselves or for those who had the ability to use it. When those people died, the ability would revert back to Yuan Kong Yi's body. But she did not expect someone to use Ice Beat as bait, intentionally targeting a mutant person with a significant side effect of superpower. She realized it was too late, the side effects erupted, and even superpower healing could not alleviate them. The bizarre mutation at the genetic level was beyond cure. Jiang Yi, while eating cake, sighed, so stubborn, still not giving up, huh? Yuan Kong Yi panicked and asked Zhang Yi, What have you done to me? Tell me. I want to know the answer. Jiang Yi smiled and replied, Go to hell and ask the devil Santa. After saying that, he fired a primordial bullet toward Yuan Kong Yi's head. Yuan Kong Yi lightly waved her right hand, creating a gigantic ice wall in front of her to block the primordial bullet. Her tone remained firm. Who knows where they are going to hell? As she used her superpower, her head felt as if it had been stabbed with needles, causing intense pain. She held her head in agony, her body swaying in the air, seemingly about to fall. She realized that continuing to fight like this was not a solution. No, I can't keep wasting my strength on him anymore. The man in front of her had completely suppressed Kong Yi's abilities. Kong Yi needed to leave and take time to address her issues. Once she fully adapted to her new powers, she would return and kill everyone here. Thinking this, Yuan Kong Yi gritted her teeth through the pain, abruptly turned and ran in the opposite direction of Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi was not surprised by this decision. He had predicted every choice Yuan Kong Yi would make. Today, by any means, Yuan Kong Yi had to die at its hands. His voice echoed, No one can save you, not even the gods. Did you claim to be a god? Why are you running? While replenishing his energy, Jiang Yi pursued Yuan Kong Yi, ready in case she suddenly turned to attack. He kept a sufficient distance, not too close to her, as Yuan Kong Yi had absorbed a lot of superpower from other mutant individuals, including powerful enhanced mutants. Her close combat fighting ability was certainly significant, so Jiang Yi wouldn't take reckless risks. He just needed to maintain pressure until Yuan Kong Yi couldn't withstand her injuries any longer. She would collapse on her own. Jiang Yi was indeed a wise hunter. Even though Yuan Kong Yi had a fast flight speed, no one was faster than Zhang Yi, who possessed space jumping abilities. Seeing Yuan Kong Yi trying to escape, Xiao Hong Lian and those from the surrounding major powers became excited. Xiao Hong Lian said to Wai Ding-A, Yuan Kong Yi is running away, as Zhang Yi won this battle. Bai Lai Chang King looked at Yuan Kong Yi in the air, his eyes lighting up. A legendary mutant person is fleeing with serious injuries. If I can capture her original, it will definitely make my forces stronger. Not just him, everyone at the scene had thought of this. If I can successfully ambush Yuan Kong Yi, then I will become the strongest legendary mutant person. Their eyes suddenly brightened. In the post-apocalyptic world, individual strength is the most practical. They had witnessed Yuan Kong Yi's power as a legendary mutant person, which completely overwhelmed lower-level mutant persons with immense strength. Who would want to become such an existence? Far away in the ruins, Wai Ding-A glanced at his amputated arm. He gritted his teeth and decided to take a risk once more. After all, this city of Tianhai was coming to an end. Losing an arm had greatly diminished his strength, making it impossible to maintain his position. Better to take a chance. His eyes lit up, the icy blue hue resembling a blizzard gathering in his gaze. A moment later, his entire being merged into the misty air. As Yuan Kong Yi fled, a massive whirlwind suddenly emerged from the ground. It quickly transformed into a sharp lance, thrusting straight up into the sky where she was flying. Although Yuan Kong Yi's vision had become completely blurred, and she had nearly lost her ability to observe, her senses were still intact. Faced with this attack, she gritted her teeth and punched down hard at the object. The condensed snow lance struck like hitting an iron wall, its tip quickly disintegrating. Then, an invisible force rapidly pressed down on it. A sound echoed throughout the storm, and a lance shattered into countless fragments of ice and snow, with Wai Dinghe being violently forced down to the ground. The ice armor around him shattered like broken glass as he lay on the snowy ground. Fresh blood flowed out from beneath him, staining the surrounding snow red. Wai Dinghe aimed to take advantage of Yuan Kong Yi's serious injuries to launch a surprise attack and seize her original. However, he did not expect that Yuan Kong Yi, despite her condition, remained extremely powerful. With just one strike, she killed him. This scene awakened the spectators around them. Although Yuan Kong Yi was injured, she was still not someone they could handle. They were not Zhang Yi, lacking massive logistical support, and did not possess advanced defensive capabilities like manipulating spatial anomalies. Yuan Kong Yi could not deal with Jiang Yi, but killing them was as easy as squashing ants. After killing Wai Dinghe, she quickly fled into the distance. Jiang Yi pursued her calmly. He glanced over at the group hiding in the rubble and said with a faint smile, "Everyone, Yuan Kong Yi is currently heavily injured. If you want to seize her original, feel free to do so." Jiang Yi's tone was gentle, but to the group, it sounded sarcastic, as if he were mocking Wai Dinghe for not knowing his own strength. An injured legend-level mutant person is not even a match for ordinary mutant persons.